All right, welcome to week 42 here at Agentuity. Really big week for us here this week. We have our preview release alpha that kind of went out on Tuesday. We've had a firefall wind, crazy whirlwind week of follow-up improvements and bug fixes and releases that we'll go through a little bit today. But we're really excited you joined us. And I will start off by maybe starting with just a little bit of the summary overview. We're going to try to tighten some of this up in a blog post, but I'm not going to go through everything. This will go out on a blog post here really soon after all of this, but we did some pretty big releases since Tuesday evening when we did the V1 release. You can sort of see a bunch of stuff here. I'm not going to go through all of these, but we'll get it posted out. So really great job for the team this week. Just an amazing launch week for the preview release, and we're really excited. I thought I would start with just a few things I worked on. I worked on a lot of the SDK and CLI and the runtime, which is this repo here. It's a new repo that we went live with this week that ports all of our kind of, it's a monorepo, and it kind of contains a huge amount of our stack, the CLI, the CLI tools, the various packages like the React packages, the server side packages for all the APIs, et cetera. It's all open source. The runtime for the agent runtime, et cetera. So check this out. We'll be adding more over the coming weeks to this. This is kind of where we're doing most everything right now. You can see a bunch of our issues here. The kind of production roadmap here we have. You can see kind of follow along how we're progressing on the preview release. We're hoping to have we're hoping to have a beta here the week after next, and then GA early in January sometime. So appreciate everybody giving us feedback already. So it's been great. Just a few things. We now have, if I run, we have a bunch of different things in the CLI that I worked on. So if I say, let's see, upgrade now, you can just automatically upgrade. And we did some really nice stuff here. We give you kind of the release link to the release notes and some other stuff. We also did, automatic updates. So it'll kind of like the old version V0. It'll sort of tell you if it's, it detects a new release, and you can kind of do that. I'll just hit yes and let it upgrade me. So we did some really nice stuff around that. Now you can sort of see everything's kind of upgraded now. We also did some really nice things around templates this week. We added some more templates. Let me just create we now rolled out another region. We have more regions coming soon. I'll just say, let's say, I don't know, testing 1, 2, 3, 4. We now have a bunch of different templates. I also worked on the Tailwind template, which I'll show you a little bit here in a second. We'll be having a lot more templates coming out soon, but we've got a few different templates here. These are really just starter projects to help you kind of have everything set up. They're not meant to be full-blown applications. I'll choose this Tailwind to show you a little bit more about some of the new config stuff that we rolled out this week. That's pretty exciting. I'm going to skip the database, my test database. So let's just go into testing 1, 2, 3, 4. And then let's start by looking at some of the code. I'll make this a little bit bigger. Give me a second. So this is kind of the standard new project. It has some really interesting things that we put in here this week. So we added support for this new Agentuity config TS, and you can see how it's being used here in Tailwind. Basically, it allows you to, it follows similar kind of pattern at how others like Vite and others do it. Next.js probably is a better example where you can hook into the build pipeline. So our bundler, of course, runs for different phases depending on what you're trying to bundle. We have a context object, which gives you a bunch of information about what's being built. And then you can return a modified build config, which will inject into the pipeline. So you can sort of see here for Tailwind, I'm basically saying, when you're bundling for web, inject this Bun plugin Tailwind, which is the official plugin for Tailwind for Bun. You have to, do a bunch of different things if you want to make this work in a normal Bun project. We try to make this really easy. You just drop this in as your plugin, and so that's kind of one thing you can do. The other thing I'll show you is on the Tailwind specifically You basically can just use Tailwind as normal. So there's nothing to do here, no weird imports or anything, nothing to really do here. And then all you have to do on your link, normally you'd provide a link to your global style sheet. The way the Bun official plugin works, you just give it a reference to this Tailwind CSS href, and then it'll like dynamically inject the compiled Tailwind chunk for you automatically. So that's kind of cool. So let's just run this real quick. So I can do a couple different ways. Of course, I can do Agentuity dev, or I can also do, Bun dev, whatever you prefer. They basically do the same thing. We have some new links that we're rolling out. We now have the public URL to your endpoint. That's basically think of it like ngrok for your machine. So it is a tunnel, just like in V0, it's a tunnel to your machine directly only while your dev mode is running, obviously, and it kind of routes this URL, which is really nice if you're testing like a Discord or Slack agent or something that's kind of on the public internet and needs to send a webhook or sends data to your machine while you're in development. We also have the new Workbench, which Bobby's going to do some stuff, so I won't steal his thunder there. And then I can just open this up, of course. This is the default template. And I can just sort of say hello. And, this is a really trivial, obviously, example, just showing sort of Tailwind styles here and all of that. So, so that's that. I think that's the majority what I wanted to show. Let's see if I can find one more example of the template config. Let me see. I have this is a good one. So just to show you, and all this will be documented in the documentation, but we did sort of build out a pretty extensive example. So when you just do a default project, it will give you a very extensive example on how you can fully customize the build pipeline. So it even shows you like an example Bun plugin if you wanted to write that. Some of the stuff, how you would do different things here if you wanted to do your own injection of secrets or whatever types of things you want to do, like include some additional types of things you want to build or external dependencies maybe you want to get bundled, et cetera. So it's pretty extensive examples here that will be available in docs. So I think that's it for me. I'm going to now hand it off to Bobby, who is going to do something pretty amazing for us.
Yep. So like Jeff mentioned, I've been working on Workbench, which is our kind of replacement for dev mode. We're calling dev mode in V1. And the update is now so let me back up. So we have two ways you can create a project in Agentuity. You can create with the CLI, you can create a project when you're not authenticated, right? So you don't have to be signed into the CLI to create an Agentuity project. But also, you could be signed in with the CLI. And if you are signed in with the CLI, now your dev mode link will open up inside of the Agentuity web app, right? And the advantage of this is well, now you're in like our full-blown app, and one of the treats that you get is you get this LLM sample generation. That's relatively tiny, but very soon we're going to have information like sessions and the spans, and those are all going to be included in this view. And those are all things that you wouldn't get in the other view, the view if you went to localhost instead. So, this is quite a bit of work. Next, I'm going to hand it off to Matt, hopefully next week. This is going to be looking absolutely beautiful, right? And he'll, make it look amazing. So over to Robin.
Yep. I've been working on infrastructure stuff, but specifically I've been working on some cool automatic connection to our services, right? So our services are like our automatic Neon database that you get. You also get a Redis too, just for caching. And you can get a S3 bucket as well, right? You'll probably notice that when you create a new project, it'll say, do you want to add these things? So let me share my screen and I'll jump into that. So when you do that, I have a simple project, just like the one Jeff showed earlier, but I've added some things using the Bun native SQL and Redis stuff. And when you click, and when we're creating a new project, right, and you select those things, right, it'll stick them in your agentuity.json. And it's kind of interesting to think about this in here, right? Because like this isn't typically what you do. You don't tie your deployment to like S3 buckets or databases, right? Normally what you do is you configure that in like an N file. And then when you create the client, you do like whatever, new client, and then, load all your stuff from process.n. But what we do, the reason we put the stuff in here, and you can remove it, by the way, this doesn't like hard link or something like that. But when you put this stuff in here, what you get is automatically behind the scenes, we'll automatically mount these stuff. We'll set up the secrets correctly. And since we know you're using Bun, because Bun's the best, and that's why we're choosing to back it so hard with our stuff, we'll automatically set up the variables so that you can just use the native stuff without doing anything. It's kind of magical. So I've deployed this project, and you can see I'll walk the code really simple, right? All this thing is doing is it's going to the database, getting a user, if they're registered, returning like a hello again. And since going to the database can be slow, right? I've added a cache too. So I'll go to the cache and see if they're already in there. If they're not, go to the database. And once I go to the database, I'll stick them in the cache. If they're not registered, I always just go to the database each time. It's a pretty simple app. So that's all deployed. I've already done that here. And so I'll go pop it open. Whoop. Here we go. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, there it is. Sorry, we've been dealing with some DNS stuff that I've been working on. Anyways, so here I am. I'm in it. I'll call it. It's a little slow. Remember, we're still in the alpha. But once this goes through, this might be my DNS.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh,
We need some Jeopardy music. Oh man.
I should
think
put
we
that
have
in, right?
demo fail probably.
I know, right? There it goes. Okay, so world is unregistered. But what is registered, you might say? Oh, well, I'll just go find out right now because we can actually get stuff out. Here, look, check this out. So you can do agentuity, and I'm gonna show my connection strings. Since we control this, I'm gonna invalidate them. So don't go hacking, being like, oh my gosh, agentuity is dumb. So you can actually go to cloud, DB, list, right? You can see the ones that I've created, right? I'm gonna do central because that's where I keep my stuff. And look, there's that. I can go pull this, do a show, okay, rumble. I think if I can just do list too. Then credentials, this will grab me this. Again, check this out, right? I can just P-SQL that thing. Boom, I'm in. I'm in the database. Pretty slick, right? And then I can just do like select star from users. Okay, so the registered users are Robin and Jeff. So I'll go back to my app. Put in Robin, say hello. Hey, look at that, it worked. And if I do it again, it should be pretty snappy, right? Cached. Pretty cool. And I didn't have to configure any environment variables. I don't have to worry about security. I don't have to worry about whatever. I mean, I do because I just put the secret out there. But it's super easy, right? And you can do the same thing for getting your Redis. Take a look at the cloud command. It's pretty cool. We got all kinds of cool stuff in there. In addition, coming up, I haven't done all the work around this, is we're doing the S3 bucket auto mounting, right? And so what's cool is we'll connect all that as well and put that in the Bun environment. So you can just call Bun S3. So that's still, I mean, it's kind of in there, but alpha. But it'll mount it too. So I can use this really cool feature that we have. Watch this not work. You can actually SSH into your connection, right? So I'm just going to do this, and it knows what project I'm in. So it should just put me right into my container in the cloud. So now I'm in Agentuity's cloud, in the container, debugging whatever. Let me look at my app. Oh, whoops, I accidentally committed app.js or whatever, right? I can just hop around in here. It's really cool. And I should be able to, I think it's in datadir. And we'll set this via an environment variable. But let me look. I think it's datadir. I might not have my, is it home? Home/agentuity/data. So then that'd be an ls, not dot. Yeah, I don't think it's in here. But you'll be able to, we'll actually just mount your bucket directly inside here. So then you can just, if you got a model you want to load, you want to pull down a big CSV, you can just stick it in your S3 storage and we'll automatically connect it. And if you have some library that is stupid and only uses files, that'll work fine. And you'll still get cloud storage benefits. I wish I could have demoed that better, but you get the idea. I think that's all the things on my list. So I'll hand that off to Matt.
Awesome. All right. So a couple improvements here and there throughout the week in the web app that we've been working on. So ignore weird, bad data. This is like my super weird test database that I go and manually edit values, and so stuff gets unlinked. But so this is the deployment screen, which we've had sort of for a while, and you've all seen it before, but a couple of small nice to haves. So now you can actually copy the URL directly to that deployment and get to it. You can also roll back to deployments now, so it's a nice little thing to have. And we spent a lot of time also improving the deployment screen and what's available, what information you can see here. So we've got a bunch of status information as usual, resources, etc. But now we've also got lists of all the agents that are in this deployment, lists of all the routes that are in this deployment. We'll keep adding more information here. We also now have build logs and deployment logs for this one, but this will actually stream in all the logs for you. And again, we've got more links here, so you can just go visit this deployment. Coming back to like the project screen, so this is like you actually go look at a specific project. For a while now, even in V0 we had the recent sessions, but we've got a little bit more information now because we now support evals on all of your sessions. So we added this new line here that will show you sort of what the average success rate of your evals is per day. Again, ignore that like there's no sessions here, but there's evals, normally be 1-to-1. But you can see, okay, great, 100% pass rate this day, 0%, etc. And it's even gradient, so you can kind of see where they fall. They're also obviously listed down here in the table, so you can quickly see which days are having problems, which days are not. So we'll continue on to the eval stuff. We have a new eval screen now within each of the projects. And if you don't have any evals yet, we'll just let you know you don't have any. We'll improve that over time, kind of maybe show you how to create evals and potentially have an agent that can generate really simple evals for you based off of a prompt. So pay attention to that coming soon, but really should be using evals. They're fantastic, especially the way that we're doing it at the session level instead of the prompt level, like most people do. So if you do end up using evals, this is the sort of UI you're going to get, right? So you're going to see for your latest deployment, so this is going to be grouped by deployments because conceivably, if you you go and you change something and then you do a new release, okay, all the earlier evals are possibly invalidated at that point, right? So we're going to group it by your deployment. Of course, you can go back and look at past deployments as well, and you can also filter this by specific agents. And so we'll tell you what your pass rate is. We'll tell you how many of your evals are having failures, how many total runs there are. Again, we'll show you what the pass rate is and how many runs you've had. We'll show you what the rate is specifically for every eval. So you're not just going to have one eval that runs per session. You might have 3, 4, 5 per session for one agent. And you got another one that has another few evals. So you might have a much larger list of evals. So we'll have those here sortable so you can sort of see what the results are. The other thing we do also is we will pull up the recent evals that have failed, so you can just quickly see what was the result. And if it's a scored eval, so you give it like a 0 to 1 score, we'll show you what that is. If it's a pass fail, we'll show you it's pass fail. Again, I've got test data in here, so normally you wouldn't have 2 variations of this, but it's also going to show you what the reason for the result was, the failure. And if you click on it, it'll pull up the session that failed, so you can go inspect what the input was, what the output was, etc. So if we look at a session here that has an eval, this one has a failed eval, so we're going to again surface this information to you. We've got this new icon. We've always had the $sign. We've always got the little thing that shows an agent handoff, but now we have this little eval icon. Build working title for the icon. We'll see if we stick with that one or not. But if you click on it now, with the metadata that we've always had here, we've got 2 additional things. We got the logs to make it a little bit easier, but also now we're showing you what the results of all the evals that ran on that span within your session was. So yeah, we're going to keep pushing the UI on the eval stuff and improving it and making it more useful. But this is sort of our first pass at this release so that you can jump right in and start using them, have at least some information available to you to really improve your agents. Over to Gabe.
All right, thank you, Matt. I'm mostly here to show today a little bit of our, like an applied example of our stack, a little more complicated / complete, like applied example of our stack. This is our ops center, very early beginning, wrong data, the same stuff that Matt said, like we break our internal like stuff all the time for the sake of getting data. So it's mostly test data, but this is a React app working with 10 stack query, with Tailwind, routing works, everything recharged. So everything is working inside our stack. This is right now running deployed on V1. It is a very basic in the sense of like the website doesn't have a lot, but it has a lot of functionality that you're gonna be using on your normal apps, all working from the box. And we're gonna be building our stuff internally as well on our infrastructure, dogfooding ourselves. So we're probably gonna be breaking stuff internally and pushing fixes, even like if people don't report them, because we're gonna be reporting them. Yeah, and that's a good example. We're gonna be working internally on this. Maybe at some point I'm gonna show like cool stuff with agents and with this, because right now it's literally just a dashboard. But yeah, also finishing thoughts now. Check our socials, check our blog posts, check our our GitHub. If you have issues, please report them. Very soon, TM vault time. I don't know. We're gonna have an agent on Discord that I'm gonna probably bring up in some demo that helps you report issues as well. And that's pretty much it from us this week. Thank you guys for being here.
Awesome. Great week, guys. Thank you. See ya. Awesome.